really, we haven't seen these two cores play against each other all that much. I'm excited to see them go at it, everything on the line.
Start for Samsung, match start, folks. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs into the pistol, with G2 starting on this attack side. And Sen Opta. And Circle here through mid. They've already got bang positioned over towards that door, so keenly aware that G2 might be looking to overload this part of the map.
We haven't gotten to see a whole lot of G2's attacks either. Oh my god, the shock actually connects with that spam damage as well. First blood from Trent, and Lee finds the second. The duo that has been just unreal for G2 up until this point.
Sen go exploring there in mid after that first kill comes out. And obviously from that upper catwalk, it's an easy pick off for Leaf with the Headhunter. Zekin has been the hero. We've heard the word heroics thrown around by G2. They're softly referring to this guy on your screen. Zekin has been incredible. Will he have to do that again in a series like this, Jorg? Such him down early, though. No value there off that Sheriff. Sentinels down to 2, and frankly, White have been picked apart one by one.
And we get an early taste of, oh, well, Jonah in a bit of trouble, but all things considered, this should be fine unless Bang able to pick up a second here.
Deltas is still at large as well. He's got to make something happen from here, though, and kind of gave the game away earlier. Was given a stay of execution as, for some reason, Jonah couldn't connect. But Zelsis is having the same kind of yips. Getting Valen, but down to 48. In the post plant, mind you. Means Zelsis here can try and save some faces, but that's about all we can expect from a round like this. Flashpoint, Jonah pays off his own flash. And that's a pistol for G2.
Really clean fight towards mid, straight off the jump. Sentinels, we haven't seen them on this map yet. You know, I was expecting maybe a Vice coming into this because Zelsis has played so much of it, but they opt for
the double controller.
Yeah, the double controller, which definitely offers a lot of help for controlling mid. Given the sightlines are so long, it's tough to try and push up either on defense or attack. We'll have to see what they exactly intend on doing with it, though. G2 off to a hot start. At the moment, they've played 4 maps, won all of them really with ease.
They're really leaning into this idea of John QT as their initiator. He's on the Sova on this map. After playing nothing but Teho all kickoff. And there's a push by Sentinels out of the A site. G2, though, very much elsewhere.
Yeah, can't be mad at them going for the gamble. That's where Leaf was last time, so perhaps hoping if he's there again on that solo lurk containing A, they could have caught him by pushing really deep, but not going to be the case.
Well, they've made enough sound to wake the dead, but Leaf is going to remediate that. Puts him back to bed. Zekin at least is able to get 1. And he will be set up here, of course, over towards that link.
Yeah, and pretty standard to have your Sentinel be one of the players that just retains a Ghost, maybe a Sheriff into that second round, be a bit more active with the lurk, trying to find kills. And if there's one thing Leaf's been, it's active in the lurk situations.
Trent, beautifully done. The higher ADR, KPR as well than any other state or tournament last year. Trent is really coming alive right now.
I remember back in the olden days when Trent was the hot upcoming star in Americas when the guard debuted way back when. Has just been consistent for them now and essentially a veteran at this point. Years of competing, but at the moment, really reaching a new peak.
What a battle, by the way. John QT and Valen, who come from the same graduating class, right? Think back, the guard, M80, these two incredible IGL prospects coming out of North America. And their record head-to-head, by the way, 5 for Valen, 4 for John QT. This is a battle of the masterminds.
Outlaw in the hands of Leaf will have, well, 2 targets actually that could get 1 shot. Second shot doesn't connect onto Georgimo. That would have been a 1-shot kill.
On that note, probably the first time we've seen Zekin on the jet for the entirety of Kickoff as well. It's been all Yoru, and obviously a little bit of Raze on Split earlier. Okay, Narrate has the TP away from that aftershock here, so no presence towards the coast side. He'll still be set up decently for this, though.
Leaf deals with that drone as Trent picks up the orb. G2 known to be one of those teams that
slow.
Yeah, they like to take their time on that attack side. They'll work the map. They want to give IGL Valen as many options as possible, figure out which side is weakest, and then go into one of their full executes where their timings on the utility have just been sublime.
G2 are waiting for much of that util to cycle back up now. Fault line is once more available for Jonah P. We saw that off the rip at the start of the round. Jorgamo here's got some ground to cover, of course, with a stinger in hand. He'd like to make that effective, and Narrate's playing close here. Caught out. It'll swing by Jorg. We'll secure it. John playing well and truly off the side, but this Sova util may light the way for Sen, as they've got second tucked up here, nice and close.
Spike going to be planted, Zekin outlaw for the retake, going to be challenging to try and find a kill unless someone from G2 over pushes, but over pushing doesn't seem like that's going to occur whatsoever. They're playing back just to spam the spike on cliffside.
Yep, strictly into those post-plant positions, leaving Jorgamo to cause problems up close here with that stinger, get some valued Leaf. Presiding over the situation from a long way away will bring Celsius down, and Sen don't have any options. Frankly, the rotate over to upper was fairly late for them anyway. So they're going to pack it in for this round, hold on to the rifles.
Absolutely flattened in the bonus round. It's just slow, patient excellence from G2. I love how they deal with that re-push back out of the Nebula to take down Narrate, who was already on such low HP. He was feeling pressure to try and be a bit more aggro. Bang needs to save that rifle, and he will. Oh, well, timing is a little off there from Trent. Okay. You hate to see that. Broken ankles. And the rest of his body, really. It's about a 700-foot drop.
Fortunately, after such a powerful bonus round, money not a huge issue there for G2. But Jorg walks up there through that dark cover. Narrate loses out to the stinger.
Yaga.
And the post-plant position's very comfortable for G2. They just slowly pulled off of that side behind that Astra smoke. And we're good to go. So tech pause here. Coming up, folks, we've got a mild audio issue down there on the stage, so we'll have that addressed in just a moment. But if you want to look towards the Sen camp, there's not a whole lot to say about these first couple of rounds, Wyatt.
No, certainly not. They've struggled to get some kills on the board too. They've only got 4 total at the moment, 3 rounds in. So they're going to be lacking in ult orbs. That's going to be even better for G2 to start to snowball. They have a comp that has really powerful ultimates when you have the Breach in the mix for the Rolling Thunder, the Dimensional Drift from Jaw, and they have a Hunter's Fury active when we get back into this. Danger for Sentinels looming early on for the G2 map pick. A map where we saw them handle Cloud9 with relative ease in their debut match.
And already, frankly, Leaf on that G2 side has had a great start to this game. Still seeing that chamber that he's been able to make work. It was so funny hearing the initial conversations about whether or not he should play chamber here in VCT. In scrims, he was getting bodied. And he sort of said to Valorant, it's like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I'm struggling to have impact here. Valorant's like, hey, once you get on stage, once you get on that 5 ping, trust me, you're going to cook. He trusted his IGL. He brought chamber in for that debut game, of course, and G2 looked sick.
Yeah, he has been, he's definitely been cooking. You could say that, given he's the statistical leader in essentially every single category in the tournament at the moment. The least kills he's put up on a map at 20. Utter dominance, and it's looked effortless as well.
And you want to talk about heroics, and how maybe Sentinels have really lent on Zekin to be a huge impact player. I've got to say, G2 have plenty of those candidates waiting in the wings to step up should they need them. Let's talk about your boy Zelsis, though. He had a little bit to say about facing his old teammate Leaf, so let us listen in.
Playing Leaf is always fun just because I consider him a very annoying younger brother. Like, we're always talking, we're always hanging out. We were on a team before, and I feel like we just have like a level of respect plus friendship with each other. And he's honestly just one of the best players to touch this game. I think he's been like that since he started playing this game. So it's just, I mean, it's just always fun and interesting to play against him because you never know what's going to happen, and you never know if he's going to go plus 40 or, you know, his scoreline or whatnot. But yeah.
Only positive things to say about Leaf, and I think the one that for me is poignant is he feels like he's one of the best players to touch the game, and I think that Leaf's now in a position that he really gets to demonstrate that. He's got such a cohesive unit to work through in G2 who have kept so much of this roster together for quite some time now. And the dividends for that dedication, White, I believe, are starting to really show this year.
Leaf really has consistently been one of the best Americas players for years, back to when we were pre-VCT and it was still called Challengers, when he was with Cloud9. He's been on these teams that have always been at the top, but just fall short, like G2 getting second twice last year in Stage 1, Stage 2 finals on Cloud9, where they would just run through teams in the regular season, but fall short in the playoffs. If there were ever a time for this G2 team to break through that glass ceiling, get a trophy, it's now. It's with Jaw in the roster, the new X Factor. All right, we're on the full buy. What can SEN do? They had a couple rifles saved.
And looking all that great for them, of course, after the bonus for G2 went so well for that attack side. Can they make a dent, SEN? A pretty laboured push out of A with no real commitment.
It was a pop flash into a recon to try to find an early advantage with the bad buy that they're on. Doesn't manifest itself, and in the meantime, you had Trent over towards B. He expended his drone. He's trying to draw attention, but all for naught. SEN are still stacked up towards A.
Neither John nor Zelsis here at A have good weaponry to work with. This is bad, and Bang was the one actually with the rifle. Crossing to try and pick that up could be dangerous, but Zelsis is able to get there. So the rifle is still in someone's hands, but a huge first pick at least. Okay, I was worried he might not be done, but Zekin finally gets himself into the game here.
A late trade, but much needed for SEN. Zekin weak, throws the rifle over to John Cutie, a smart little micro decision. Unfortunately for him, nowhere near the Bladestorm, so he'll be stuck on the Classic. Does Zelsis want to fight this though or get out?
He's got no choice, no option. Fault line's going to force him out of the action now. Ajorg scrambling over container. And he's been the one, the tip of the spear so far, to push those smokes and take those fights. It was against Narrate earlier. This time, though, he's going to allow Zelsis to stew for a time in security. There might be a crossfire set up here by Valen, so they are ready to work this angle together, but Flash comes in. Valen and Jorg, there they are. Hunter's Fury also feels extraneous at this point. A comfortable round here for G2, and the last of those SEN rifles are torn out of their hands.
Just picture-perfect crossfire set up by G2 after getting into the site. It's again that patience on display from them after the initial fight. They don't try to re-clear back into A main too fast. They allow that outlaw to pay off by slowing the pace of the game. You know, that's something that they've been doing a lot. Prioritizing Leaf getting a scoped weapon on attack. Dare I say, I think Leaf is probably doing more, or rather buying into those scoped weapons, playing with the Outlaw and AWP more in total than I've really ever seen him do in the past.
And maybe even, you know, I mean, who else will come close so far in Kickoff? Maybe Digizine, someone else who's really trying to buy into that weapon. He did drop it that last round, but of course, we can upgrade to an operator here.
Sentinels calling the timeout. Kaplan trying to fix things early before the game gets completely out of hand. Again, we have to pay attention to the snowball that G2 are on in regard to the ultimates. Because SEN were lacking in kills, they were lacking in getting orbs. So as we head into this next one, G2, they're on the cusp of a couple, the dimensional drift one off.
And just briefly taking a look ahead, if Sentinels can't get something going here on this map, they've got to rely on their Pearl map pick, which has looked great for them in fairness, but I mean, G2 took us there once and looked stunning. So there's no guarantee that they can even the series up here. They must find some traction on this defense side of Abyss.
Now this is going to be, should be the toughest test for this G2 squad so far. They've been going against better and better opponents as time has gone on. It started with the 2-0 versus C9, and then Leviathan, a 2-0 versus them.
But for SEN, this has to be 2-1s.
Yeah, this has to be the real test for them. All right, can SEN get back into this out of the timeout? What has Kaplan cooked up for them?
Might get another early pop off a flash on the A side of the map for SEN. Looks like they're going to give it up here. And a smoke placed pretty far forward by Narrate over to B. So Jorgamo's going to have this orb.
Yeah, gets them the dimensional drift, prioritizing the ultimates. Again, it's that snowball that they're on economically with the orbs. Offers Zekin. He's trying to control mid. Perhaps have an engagement against Leaf, but we'll have to see.
This is the same spot that Narrate was tested in by Jorg walking up at the Stinger a couple of rounds ago. He's elsewhere, though. He's made his way all the way down mid. It might look to wrap around here. Emerge. A pretty dangerous timing here for SEN. He should spot John over there. He's going to be forced off by a fault line. Here comes Jorg. He's on the side, and Narrate gets absolutely flattened. And nobody else for Sentinels is inside B. They've all now got to peer in from the extremities. And once again, G2 can fall back to these post-plant positions after Trent sticks it.
Oh, and Jaw, he went back through the gate crash, picks up Bang on the rotate as well. That is so intelligent from the new G2 star, their one off-season change.
And SEN have to just drag themselves here onto the site. They've cleared it at least with a 0 point. They have some information, but Leaf will be waiting on this. Oh, an opportunity to strike, but Zekin is waiting, and he held the line. Now, things get a bit more even. Zelson's able to spray down. Trent's going to have a crack in there, or at least light them up here. Trying to stop the power, but Zekin plants his feet instead. Jorg, though, coming from behind. Zelsis isn't ready for it. The third for Jorg, and now the updraft won't be enough to shake the Yoru. Jorg with 4, and G2 cannot be stopped.
Jaw is just too good. He is the X factor for this team. The reason we're looking for them to have finally, push things over the top. This roster is just so good. All 5 players.
Man, that guy put in some mileage last round.
Right here, this moment, that flash into the fault line. Look at how it leaves Nere on an island, and then that snappy shot. Teleports back to mid, cuts off Bang on the rotate from A, and then reacts with a flank. The pathing in that round from him is perfection. This guy is so different.
Zen got completely exposed in that round. And now, of course, we go back to take some humble pie. Just the pistols to work with now. Blade Storm for Zekin, any edge that Sen could possibly get in a round like this, any way to keep a lid on the economy.
They've gone back to the well of push A main, try and find an opening there, which hasn't worked so far. Zekin spotted by the drone, and he's going to be on the run.
Trenton's just ready for it. Playing in a safe proximity, clearing with the hour drone, and Sen re-explore immediately back into A main. They are adamant about getting their pistol value, such that Zekin even extends to get some damage on Trent. And G2 don't like what they see. Now they take control of mid for the attackers.
Again, it's slow from G2. They want to get that information around the map. They know that there's got to be, minimum 2, probably 3 players fighting for a main, so they gather up B. But Sentinels kind of beating them to the punch. They've got rotates here. Can they try and get in for Nere?
John is playing from upper instead of link this time. Nare's going to get hit with all of the util here, though. He is stunned for the foreseeable future, and Jorg emerges. Another double. Zekin with the Blade Storm, desperately trying to even the odds. But this is oppressive from G2.
The fundamentals on G2 have been lights out. This is the 5th map in a row on this tournament where you never spot a situation where a player is pushed forward and there isn't that second player behind him ready to trade. They are always there for each other. Jaw presses forward, then you have Trent fighting next to him. This transfer spray onto Zekin, who really needed to find that kill to give Sentinels any amount of chance.
Swimwear? Is that code for he's in there? 6-0 here for G2. Once again, Sentinels back to the buy. A Cosmic Divide here, that's set up by VALORANT. It gives G2 all this space. Oh, and Earth was that from Zekin. Godly reaction time.
They need him to come to life like that. Leaf immediate trade onto Narrate, though. Do G2 try and slow it down? They're trying to give Leaf some time to work the map. Zekin is weary.
They've gambled the A site. This triplet of Sentinels able to finally nullify Jorgamo's impact. Trent here is a lone wolf over towards A main as Leaf is still meandering his way up the top of mid.
And you've got to imagine at some point Leaf is just going to wander into this crosshair of Zekin. He can't sit in top mid forever.
Zekin is patient. Has a real good feel for this. The shot though isn't good. So Leaf has another option, another chance perhaps, and Zelsis ends up getting taken down. So Leaf still takes his pound of flesh. Pinged out here though, 40 seconds left in the round. The spike is over towards A main. This would be Herculean for Leaf. Even for him, it might be asking too much. Okay.
30 seconds left.
Oh, that's unreal. Bang gets hit with the trademark there. Easy to spray him down. He was slowed. But again, up against the odds was Leaf, and finally, Sen City get the lights turned on.
Feels like they either found or are just trying to force confidence in that round. But I want to see that from Zekin. He really has been the key to success for Sentinels. Like Leaf said in that interview before the game, he feels that this team is relying on heroics. The hero has been Zekin. He comes up with that lovely first kill.
Brick by Brick is right. And a very lackluster start here for Sentinels so far, but now something a little bit more to hang your hat on. Again, we saw the replay there from Zekin a couple of times, realizing that he has to take action there. Otherwise, they get stifled, choked out by a Cosmic Divide that would allow G2 to take so much of the map. It was important that he intervened in that situation. We also see Zelsis get more active over towards the A main. Took a kill of his own. And once again, ironing out just a minor audio issue here. Sentinels, of course, know they have a bit of a climb. G2 have been flawless, though, in so many of these rounds. And again, that was a round I'd pin on Heroics to some degree from Sentinels. Are the fundamentals going to be there in a long series against their arch nemesis?
That was a cool attempt at that split A hit from G2. The Cosmic Divide, purpose to just cut off Zekin on that angle. So him swinging through it, pretty mad, but G2, they've got to feel like that's just not going to come because it is so reckless in a way that it is the perfect timing to do it.
And we're talking about a team last year in VCT who didn't really have the highest of expectations, I think, for them. I mean, fans in general. We saw them had a slower start to the year, but it wasn't long before we realized that G2 were a real, legitimate threat. But they walk out of the year, like you mentioned, with 2 of those second-place finishes in Stage 1, Stage 2, respectively. So not able to hoist a domestic trophy, let alone really strike deep into one of those international events. I think their Champions finish left something to be desired for them, falling out in 7th to 8th place. Seeing Sentinels, of course, they're in 4th. Leviathan above them even. So in terms of our Americas delegates, G2 are still looking to really sit on the throne internationally.
And that is the expectation from their fans, from the general community. I mean, common sentiment is they are the best team in Americas right now. And a lot of people are arguing that they're the best team in the world heading into Masters if they do make it there, which is the expectation. This team has looked fantastic. And it's just come from 2 roster changes and even role swaps over time. You know, when you're talking about at the beginning of last year, Leaf was playing Duelist, and he was putting up numbers. He was always giving them against like 20+ kills on every map that this guy finds. But that just wasn't the right role for the team. And then when they swapped him over to the Sentinel, which he had some history playing on Cloud9 back in the day, that's when things really started to heat up for the team, when things began to click. And then you bring in Jaw, world champion, and all of a sudden, this team should just have gone completely over the top in regard to skill. The IGLing from Val, I mean, has been great for years. Like, this team are expected to be the best we've got.
Our audio issues are ironed out, folks, so we are moments away from jumping into round number 8 of this first map of our upper finals. That's right, winner will go to the grand finals. Winner will qualify for Masters Bangkok. So far, G2 have a healthy 5-round lead. Sentinels, though, with a big buy into this round. Cosmic Divide and Null Command at their disposal.
They know where the second op is at, and there's a tour de force. Might get that operator battle as Jaws up through mid with the dimensional drift. We saw him get so much value with this last time they tried to go for the B execute. He knows Zekin and John have both retreated.
Surely John has to be ready for this. Jorgamo, in fact, just chooses to emerge from a smoke. Here comes G2 straight up onto this B site.
He even fakes a gate crash forward, so Sen might think he's in that nebula that he's staring at right now. Pop flash out!
He's able to turn it for a time, but it's overwhelming pressure from the local round. Zelsis with the classic. Okay. Able to find that kill as Zekin gets a rifle instead. Here's an Null Command. They're going to try and flood out together, but Jonah P! Oh, that's dirty! Valen? Question mark? We'll let that one slide. 3 versus 1 here for Bang, who is belated in arriving at the site, but it lined up for him somewhat. He'll only take the 1.
Oh my god, nerves at the end there. Bang was on such a long rotate that they thought he must have been coming from the flank, from their spawn side. He had a real opportunity to get 2 kills there. I think this flash just went completely awry from Zelsis. It blinded, yeah, all 3 of his, or that was a counter flash. I can't know for sure.
There was no assist from the flashing players.
That was, I think the KO flash going too high. Regardless, all of Sentinels blinded up. Poor Nere, this has been a miserable start for him.
He's been the one that's been getting so much of that attention up on that B site. Jorg just coming out of nowhere, usually just finding him first somehow, or getting hit with every piece of util in the book and being stunned by the time his foes came calling.
This time, Jaw getting so deep on mid, pushed all the way up. That's just a clone. All good. Second, so fast out of B. This is Sen changing the pace.
Still, that Rolling Thunder is actually headed over towards Tower on the A side of the map, but G2 are definitely gearing up to push through that smoke in A main. Hunter's Fury now being deployed by John. Narrate gets his first of the game. He's in it, folks. Able to find that share of purchase on Jorgamo. This is SEN here with only 2 hero rifles in the round, holding their own. But now G2 are really going to come to call on this A side. An opportunity for Jonah P. Only going to find the one as Zels is really selling the bundle. I'm not going to lie, he is quite good at marketing this classic. That is a ridiculous thrifting from Sentinels. All off the back of the push off the B side by Zekin.
Love that decision from Sen. Flank timing from Zekin is perfect. Into narrate. Prepared for Jaw to have pushed up top mid. Gets the shot off with the share. Finally on the board, as you mentioned. That was a crucial kill to pick up as well. I mean, imagine if Jaw finds one there and then is that presence, the backstab, while the sight hit comes in from the front. Crucial kill.
Any of these people?
Let's go!
Yeah, there was a good recon in there as well from John. First time playing Sova in this tournament. It's been all Tejo, like you said before. And there were some question marks about his role swap when we came into this season due to performances from Sen in the off-season. It was weird to see him on the initiator when you're bringing in Narrate. But we'll see if he can find success on all of the important initiator agents to play. Jaw, does he wander into this?
Oh, he swings it wide. The timing there just punishes Zekin. He cannot take the shot, Jorg. Probably knows exactly what he avoided. And G2 have found 2 big openers. That one on Zelsis is going to hurt.
And Narrate in this same horrendous situation. He feels the grip closing on him from all angles. He has to choose a fight somewhere because he knows the wrap is coming in.
Yeah, he was on a clock. He would have been shot in the back of the head had he not chosen to go forward, but either way, the odds were not in his favor. And Sen, just after a round like that, again, which I would pin on Heroics quite happily, they're again put in such an oppressive scenario.
And that is why Narrate has struggled so far and has 10 deaths at the moment. It's because G2 have been so good at wrapping around him, trying to anchor on the B site. He has been put in extremely tough situations. It's not like he's just having an off bad game right now. G2 are just really exploiting the setup on that site. There needs to be an adjustment from Sen.
They're running out of time in this half, Wyatt. That's the issue. Enough money to still have a full buy in this next round. But again, we are headed into round number 11, and they have only those 2 rounds to their name. Jonah P trying to dot his I's, cross his T's, but Bang is waiting for him. Okay. Not too shabby. You'll notice that G2 aren't exactly swimming in gold coffers.
Still worth going for the hunt, though, with the state of the money that they've got. I mean, Jaw is lights out at the moment.
Magnetic.
One of the things I was thinking about coming into this game,
I
and
can't believe it either.
when we're doing this duelist comparison, is that Jaw hasn't actually needed to be the guy for G2 yet. He's been playing tons of Yoru, fulfilling his role, has had very great utility and ultimates for setting up the rest of his team. But as far as the star performance where he's fragging out, putting up the big numbers, they just have not actually needed him to do that yet. He is turning up right now, though.
And again, you know, we might have expected seeing Sentinels and what they played so far, Wyatt, to bring Yoru into a map like this as well. And they, alongside G2, have been proponents of, you know, moving in that direction of the double initiator Yoru setup. But instead, some Sen come out with a slightly more classic look, in fact, even foregoing that second initiator. Go for a double controller setup here, and they have been picked apart on so many of these defensive rounds.
The Kaplan is already expending a second timeout here, knowing that despite this Sen comp, I think typically being better on the attack side, you're still not going to win if you can't get at least a few on defense. It's just going to be way too difficult to come back.
It's got to be 4.
They've got to get at least 1 more on the board, minimum here. Full bought into this. Op again for Zekin. Mixed results with that up until this juncture.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, both times he's held a passive line down mid-wide, he has missed. Punished in the most recent example as Jorgamo just ripped in a new one.
Narrate sends Dark Cover over to B Tower so Zekin can prioritize watching main, but at the moment G2, they're not playing around that side of the map. It's slow A control. It's Trent watching for a mid push, maybe out of the timeout. Sen want to do something more proactive, less reactive, but that won't be the case.
I was almost thinking that Sen might want to push off the B site again. They've had some success doing that as a duo.
Take flight.
But in fact, they are just sitting back.
It's a mid-round re-clear here with the drone, and the
tried to
aftershock
cancel it.
forces him out of it. He didn't even get around the corner. Though obviously that does still give some valuable info,
Some
knowing
info.
the breach is right there in A main, right?
Yeah, security's about to be smoked out anyway. Trent gets it, Aldrin, he knows there's a player in the back of the site. Here goes Sentinels, they do need to get their ducks in a row. They pulled off the site, so no one's anchoring here so much. SEN setting up for more. Oh, actually, they're coming through security right now, Wyatt.
Yeah,
they're going for an
wanna get back
off-timing. Smoke's in the way. Narrate those C's. Jonah up on that higher ground. Jorgs is going to trade it out. John swings in. That's a tough one to win. And send it down to 2. They have to win this round.
Zol's trying to find the timing up into heaven. The smoke comes down. That might have saved him, but ultimately it's going to make it more than uncomfortable and less than ideal to get back into this site. Though he does have a flash. He can pop flash out of this. There it is, but oh, it doesn't connect onto Trent.
They have every angle covered, Wyatt. They had security, A main, tower, all eyes on those locations. Okay. Link just bombing up there, being a nuisance. Second will punish him for his audacity. But there's not much more that he can do in this round. He has to walk away. He's being chased as well. Trent is right behind him and he knows it. He's heard it.
He needs to hit the shot. They need to save the op into this next round. Trent is jiggling the angles perfectly. He's on the run and he gets punished. Gun down. Operator lost, and the economy is in a tragic situation for SEN with the timeouts expended.
He didn't have a chance to reload the shorty. I think he pulled it out for a split second and realized that he had to turn tail and run. Oh, that's heartbreaking stuff.
It doesn't matter how good their attack side is going to be. This comeback feels insurmountable. They need this last third round so desperately.
Unfortunately, right now, things are not clicking.
Now, they tried to get back into the site with the paranoia.
Why are you running?
But it just didn't end up mattering. Oh, and Leaf punishes the push, reading that with Ezo G2 and Giorgio swinging onto it.
This is only the second time that they've tried it this half. How did G2 read into this? Oh man, that is devastating. Now SEN on their last legs in this round already. A faster pace switch up here for G2 has left them without a leg to stand on.
Trying to play aggressively on defense against this G2 team, you are just wandering into a trap. Leaf is going to have the AWP on the angle. They're going to be ready to re-swing onto you with flashes from Jaw. This is next to impossible for Bang. He gets the first.
All those post-plant positions though, there's an easy double swing here for G2 with some Jonah Pete U-tool to set it up. Smoke is well placed. Here's that Hunter's Fury now. Bang just doesn't really have the time to get to the spike where he's needed. He's able to dodge that one. Give it a tickle again. Step forward from the smoke and shut down. 10 rounds to a paltry 2. G2 clowning on SEN on this map so far. Abyss has looked so clean for them. We didn't know what to expect from SEN, but so far, we're not impressed.
Phenomenal play, working the map from G2, how they exploited mid into the B splits.
Dude, I thought me saying pause would get you like 5 kills.
Were it only that easy. It's a rough start here, an 8-round deficit for SEN, but Riv is standing by with a couple of retirees enjoying the show here at the Riot Games Arena.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am over here with Tens and Tarek. We're just hanging out. Don't need the fire extinguisher just yet, right, guys? Things are semi-okay?
Yeah, no, they're okay. Everything's going according to plan, of course.
Okay, cool. So what was the discussion over here when you guys were thinking what needs to be changed, what needs to be done? 10-2 isn't... It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Okay, I think I speak for the entire community. I think we've just had enough of Abyss. Let alone the fact that Sentinels is getting smoked on this map. It's time to remove Abyss. One in the chat if you want to remove Abyss from the rotation. Please, guys, we're begging you, man.
I agree.
You agree? What needs to change? What? Oh, wait.
Go ahead. I was gonna say Tyson has said. I think Tyson's had some strong opinions at this map of like. Hey, also I want to say sorry to the designer of the map because there is a person that put this together. So to the team, it's nothing personal, but I think you said that you've had some strong opinions about this map in the past, right?
What are you feeling?
This is not our map. Needs to go.
Oh, that's the feel?
Yeah.
That's definitely gonna nail a designer's feelings. Okay, so feeling that this isn't going your way, that's not the little bro curse, how are they gonna come back?
I think it's a go next map angle for sure.
It's a go next map angle.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look, I would love to see a comeback, but I just don't think Abyss is it for us. I'm just kidding. Go Sentinels. We got
Tens,
this.
you've been in there. What are they thinking? You know what the comms are flying through that team.
I mean, honestly, We sell more bundles, so I think we win.
It's going to be about the bundles, the vibes, the merchants. You just got to keep it up. Everybody in chat, keep the ones coming. We're going to see if SEN can keep the win coming right now as we get back into the match.
I do want to suggest that about 40% of Zelsis's kills have been with the SEN Classic. So that is definitely something worth mentioning. However, do they make up such a big deficit? I mean, when Tarek's calling it to go next map, that's worrying, but Sen City have turned up in force today to try and bolster their roster. Let's see what they've got for us here on his attack side.
Zels is hoping after this round, maybe a full third of his kills on the board could come from the Classic. They desperately need this pistol. It feels hilarious to say that in a situation like this, but obviously must win. Well, good luck.
It's the same. Just reversed. Leaf able to find a first kill with a headhunter from Catwalk in the first round of the game. Groundhog Day out here.
Trent feels the pressure from the 0 point, so he just gets out. Time to play for a nice little retake. We've got the breach. We're going to excel in a situation like this.
Sen really want to try and overload in the security direction, but G2 are more than happy to contain them until they're ready to try and retake this. Slowly, Leaf is making his way on the flank, and Zekin takes a bunch of spray through. Valen there gets the drop on him with some free damage. And it's such a nuisance around that corner. Trent's there, eventually Valen falls off that cliff. But what about the defuse? What about the objective? The game plan here for Sentinels. Jorg might be here to disrupt it once more, but John from below. Zelsis with that off angle. They are making a half of G2 to get back in here. Sentinels have really taken control of this site. Trent for one. He's had 3 in the round, but there's just no time to go for a defuse at this rate. And Zekin, you better believe, will keep himself scarce until it's time to strike. And away he goes. Sentinels get a crucial third on the board. That's how they had to start this half.
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel like Tarek. This might just be a go next type play for... Oh, wait, I mean, well, we'll see. They've got, I mean, it's a decent enough start. I'm a little worried still. Leaf's positioning in mid is going to be quite troublesome.
Takes a lot to convince you, Dr. River.
I'm still worried, man. I'm still worried.
Boys, let's go.
That push into spawn was pretty good, but it required some pretty miraculous timings and some great shots from Zelsis.
Bulldogs and Guardian here for second. Sentinels now have an opportunity to try and make hay while the sun shines. Another round here would be a huge step forward.
They need a clean conversion here, Sentinels. They're working into a main. They're going to have to deal with Trent. That's the lone player, and he's just got a classic. This should be an easy cleanup.
Made the right call, Sentinels. It's like a very elaborate 3-stack flash setup over a B that now must be dismantled and moved. Like a... Okay. Bang able to win that out. That was Jorg pushing up on that B side still. There's going to be more push from Valen there, but elsewhere. G2 need to get in position. Drop down from security. Johnny's there. And the draws of the Bulldog will have their fill.
Yeah, that is Trent just trying to find a timing. Gets punished. Bang on the long rotate back. Should be easy cleanup unless Leaf can maybe find a kill with that headhunter. Still has 4 bullets in the chamber.
Not too shabby here from Sen. Slow the pace down, of course. Yet to even plant until about 40 seconds into that round. Fast hit over to the A side. Leaf again strikes with that headhunter like you alluded to, but I think for the rest of G2, they take the honorable way out.
Yeah, and in that situation, Leaf getting 1 is ultimately pretty irrelevant since one of the players, that was Bang, just had the ghost, so he's able to retrieve the Bulldog. If Sen can win this bonus, I'm going to start to believe. This comp should be better on the attack side. This is a crucial round, though.
This was the push up here by Jorgamo. But obviously the action here was over towards this A site. Couple of moments there from G2, but Sentinels here, like they said in that first round win, brick by brick. Have themselves the bonus now. Zelsis is having quite the map, all things considered. Here's Bang, the one of the fault line. Pressure, and Jorg gets him. I don't know if they realize Zekin was back there behind that cloud burst, but he takes a big hit as well.
That was a great aggressive play to throw in the mix from G2. Fault line into the flash. That's that first kill, and now Zekin wants to get back on that line. Low HP with the Guardian in hands. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to how Sen are using these smokes to try and exploit mid, push up. It's tough to play that part of the map typically, but when you have the smokes covering up those multiple angles, you can get those nice contact walks, get up close.
Kind of the incentive for playing this double controller style. Okay, slow around here for Sentinels, much more of a G2-esque pace. Starting now to inch their way up towards that B site. Jorg's having to take the shot. He gets a lot of information there. Zekin's still quite low, and John ends up falling. That's just sprayed through the wall by the looks of things. Flash to play off of Leaf capitalizes, and Zekin is down, and Sen starting to fall apart. Celsius is not in a position to have a real impact in terms of advancing their win condition. And it's up to Narrate, who always seems to be alone against a horde. And a flawless round for G2. That is a gut punch for Sen, who were just trying to build back into the game.
And it really just comes off the back of that early round aggressive play, pushing down out of B, and then after the fact, comfortable to continue anchoring the sites while Sen are a man down. Right here, that swing off the fall line. Second forced to retreat. Oh my God, that is a ridiculous shot. This is Jaw in peak form right now.
Trent also having another fantastic game. I don't know what it's been about Kickoff for him, but he has been incredible. All right, Sen, of course, with that pretty smoke-heavy composition, can chop up the map a little bit and move up like they are now.
Yeah, they've got that Nebula and the dark cover, right? So here it is, the contact walk up after the recon.
More smokes.
Playing towards that vent door, just wants to keep an eye on it. And look at the rotation. This is forcing from G2. They have to pick up far more passive angles at this point.
Yep. You get top mid basically for free, Wyatt. Okay, this could be a little bit dicey. I like the idea. The trend is going to end up going down. Here comes that null command now. Zelsa's getting serious about hitting this A site. No one really proximate for G2 to stop them moving through A main. Much of the fight is going to happen through these links here. Valen for one. The jump isn't enough for Narrate. He eventually gets caught out. 3 for each to work with. Leaf now trying to get into tower. Zelsa's ready for him, but Leaf is far too cunning to overexpose himself.
He's playing this so well, Leaf, but Zelsa's still able to find it. That is crucial. That should be the round winner. Talk about an impact kill.
And that Nova Pulse. It's too late to catch Zelsa's out. Now, G2 might have to draw upon some heroics of their own. Tap of the spike, presumably for Jorgamo here. Valen has to be aware of what's going over in main, and of course, his Astra setup means the post plant is hard to play through. Half comes out for Valen! What? That is unreal! Far from done, Zelsa's with a third, but Jorg, how does he get the defuse, man? That is just raw!
Just able to stick the spike, the accuracy from Valen. One of the best IGL fraggers that we have in the game. Sick two-piece.
Heartbreaking.
That kill from Celsius in Vent, that really should have been the round winner. Able to pressure from the flank because of it.
He gets both, man.
Oh, the timing is so brutal that John is firing the shock dart. So then by the time he re-swings, Valen picks up that second angle. If he had the gun out, which, look, he can't know that. I mean, that's just so tough, such a tough timing.
It's just plot armor. G2 shrug off another close round here for Sen, and now obviously the map winner is here. Sen just bullied their way out of the A site and bowled Jonah P over in the process. Didn't have any backup to rely on at the time. John, despite being Nova Pulse, is able to get a plant down. Shock dart up to tower. Gatecrash being deployed over towards tower as well here by Jorgamo, give him a place to fall back to. And actually gets blown up instead. Clone gives him the flash. Leaves it with a headhunter. Numbers are even now again. Bang probably feeling a little bit exposed here on that side. Zelsa 0 point though, gives him the info, and John whacks him down. Sen not giving up yet.
There we go, playing in front of that cosmic divide together, getting deeper in the site to set up some crossfires. Celsius is playing lights out right now, I'll tell you that. Despite Sen, their woes on this map only having 5 rounds, he's got the most kills in the server, sitting at 18.
That was a nice little moment there from John. As well, after 0 pointing up towards that tower side, they knew. A couple players waiting for a swing there, and that was just a very fast hit from Sentinels, as opposed to previous attack side rounds, where they've just slowed the pace down and been slowly unraveled.
They forced G2 onto the eco. Leaf, however, with the tour de force, wants to end the game now.
Before those sails start to swell too much. The Sentinels sloop.
VALORANT feeling pressure, needs to put down that Nebula, wants to play in it. Oh my god, that is a sick angle, but Second finds the first kill.
And he's all over the site now. Sentinels well and truly in there. A late wrap here from Leaf, but bear in mind the weaponry for G2 is just not there. So might get themselves another now. Recon does tag Zekken out. Oh, goes low. Decent pressure from Trent. In upper. Leaf here with the tour de force in this round, as we mentioned earlier. Hoping to take a bit more away from it. But getting onto the side is a whole different story. Jonapi Trent still stacked up here. Still have to try and make a way in with these pistols. Okay. Celsius gets dropped by Leaf. That was an operator, if I'm not mistaken. Another? This is so bad for your economy, man! That is disgusting!
God!
That is power. Ace comes up for Leaf. Yay, lets the round go, but Sen, it just ruins their economy, man. Remember, of course, for the first ace of the week, iBuyPower giving away a PC. Following that, $100 Riot gift card, $100 in iBuyPower awards for every ace. Follow at iBuyPower on socials. Hashtag unlock your ace.
That is one of the most outrageous yet least consequential aces I've ever seen. Though I will, listen, that's some good stat padding for Leaf, who once again is dropping minimum 20 every map so far in Kickoff. That was crazy.
I mean, the whole side is littered with those trademark oil fields. I don't know what's going anywhere. Okay. Let's just calm it down a little bit, shall we? Sentinels, of course, still can buy for the most part. I think Zekken's banking off getting an orb here.
Yeah, he threw the rifle over to, I believe, Zelsis. They need to recover that orb so he can get the Blade Storm ready. Center gathered up towards B. Jaw on the close angle.
What a sickening round that was.
Does have the gate crash to get away from here after he takes that first engagement.
Jorgamo knows his first shot needs to be good. Narrate just TPing pretty deep here. He's actually going to stick it. So Sentinels, very much set up on this B side, behind his Astral Divide.
Has to use 2 teleports. A little bit unfortunate if he's in a situation where he wants to get away. John has the Hunter's Fury, though, for this post plant.
I mean, I'd be scared now if there's some flood util to deal with. Narrate doesn't have an option to get out. Okay, Joe, that's a little bit audacious, I'll be honest with you. Pops out of that dimensional drift, and here come the Sentinels now. Some punishment for G2. A little bit lax on this round, perhaps the protocol's not quite airtight. And a flawless round for Sentinels, keeping their head above the surging tides.
Yeah, you said it. Rare moment where the fundamentals are off for G2. A bit of life for Sentinels as Jorgamo is punished, trying to get out of the dimensional drift with that Hunter's Fury ringing off from Trent. But the timing just isn't there. That's 2 ults, 2 big ults gone now for G2. And the economy.
Nice, boys, let's go!
In tatters again.
Zelsis, get excited about, for sure.
He's keeping that energy up, as always.
Narrate's been under so much pressure this game. Had to deal with the emerging Jorgamo. But he handled it cleanly.
You've got Jaw pressed pretty far forward on B. Leaf taking contact for him. But it's slow from Sen at the moment.
We're talking Outlaw and a single hero rifle outside of that for G2. They have to take their foot off the gas in this round.
And Leaf would have to hit 2 shots connected, or a headshot to actually get a kill with that Outlaw. No one from Sen on light armor.
Jorg, of course, the one with the rifle. Playing up here on coast, and that's the ping. They know that there's something afoot over on the B side, but Sen are pulling out of that part of the map. VALORANT on this walk-up might get a lot of value here. That Recon's not going to spot him out. He can rat this corner. But looks like Sen are grouping for a full A run.
Yeah, VALORANT is hearing the footsteps, so G2, they're trying to beat them over towards A. No command popped off. That'll stop Jonah from getting any breach util in here.
Well, VALORANT also can't make use of that Astra util. He got caught out by the null command and suppressed. But Zekken is down. Professor P from up on high. Oh my goodness! Narrate perforated as he tries to go for a plant. And Sentinels only have 2 left to work with. Jonah P stays off the aggression now as a clone drops down. Zelsis realizes it. Flash follow it up. Jorgamo with the rifle still. a real threat. Where's the plant coming from? John has to put it down now, but a fault line is going to interrupt. He still has to stick it. Eventually taken down, and it's on Zelsis. Up to him in a 1 versus 3 to salvage the game for Sentinels. Professor P puts the period on the sentence, and G2 will claim Abyss.
At the end of the day, that just comes down to their excellence on defense. Sen, they have a comp that certainly will be better on the attack side look, but the rounds they got, just 2, it's not going to be enough, even with a pistol round win. Insurmountable lead, but at least a bit of momentum coming their way with Zelsis in particular playing excellent on that map despite the loss. They're going to Pearl, that's their map pick next. And at least now it's feeling a bit more competitive, but this run of G2 winning maps with ease continues. 5 in a row, and 5 in a row where Leaf has dropped minimum 20 kills. Outlandish.
The guys cannot be stopped. Some ridiculous moments in this game, an odd map as well. Especially seeing, where Sentinels found their strength. Zels has had a great showing in general. We saw the ceiling of Sentinels at times, but I've got to say the floor of G2 felt like it was much, much higher consistently over the course of this map. They showed their dominance, and moments like this, flashes of brilliance, heroics as they've been dubbed. Yes, they've given Sentinels a little bit to work with, but that's just not enough against a team like this. G2 aren't rattled so easily.
Yeah, that G2, they were so good at exploiting mid on that attack side, wrapping all the way around to hit the B site. The anchors over there were struggling so hard. It was just a fantastic game plan, but Sen, they need to rally back on their pick.
We're going to step away, and up next, Golden Boy in the analyst desk will break down a ridiculous map number 1 in this best of 3. Winner, of course, goes to Bangkok.